welcome. Rabid here with Rabid Mining, and well, today we have the all-in-one Rebtech motherboard. I opened this up and I was like, what did I actually get? They sent me the wrong product. This is a GeForce GTX 1060. So I was like, okay, maybe they just got the box wrong. And this is classic. Don't judge a book by its cover. So if you haven't yet, smash that like button, hit the subscribe button, and we'll unbox this and see what's actually inside. So we're going to open this up. Hopefully you guys can see this all right. We got some nice packaging in here. Let's try to get this out. So there's no book or anything. Alright, see you later, box. Didn't want you anyway, 1060. So yeah, here it actually is. Set that down right there. Okay, so here we are, and what I know about this is really nothing at all. Other than it's an all-in-one motherboard. It supports 8 GPUs and is powered by one 6-pin from a server power supply. It does come with a M2 hard drive SSD, but the manufacturer did tell me it is preloaded with simple mining. We have 2 USB outs for like keyboard and mouse. We got our Ethernet plug, HDMI, and our little power button down there. And we got a little plug right there. Not sure what that is at the moment. It has a nice back plate. I figured I should point this out before I said it on someone. Someone says something in the comments. There are no pins on the bottom of this like a standard motherboard, so it is a nice grippy type of texture to keep it nice and safe. So you can pretty much just put this down anywhere. Now this thing is actually smaller than my 3060s, and comparing it to a different motherboard like the B250 there, it is actually a B250 is two and a half of these wide and 1 1/4 long. So it is tiny. You could fit 3 of those into one motherboard space. So it is nice and compact. Okay, so this is powered by a 6-pin from a server power supply. I threw my 2400 watt up here, brought down this little 1200 watt HP for a 240 volt. And I grab my C13 to C14 cable going into my PDU. This will plug into the back of my HP server power supply. So you take the 6-pin from your HP server power supply and it will go to the power right here, which is the 6-pin in this Rebtech all-in-one blockchain, 8 GPU, PC, all these writings I got over it. So into this all-in-one motherboard is just by a 6-pin to 6-pin. I do have a keyboard and mouse plugged in. I probably will not need the mouse, but at least the keyboard as well as the monitor into the HDMI right here. So the first thing we're going to look at, I guess, would be the BIOS. Hopefully they don't skip it and go straight into simple mining, but we're going to hit the power button here on this NerdGear's breakout board. And it is spinning. We're up and live. Smash the delete key. See? Delete key smash. And hopefully what's going on? Are we getting into here? Was I too late? So it's all the USB, PCI going on. And waiting for a load up. Or do we have to have a card in first? I don't know. Technical difficulties, I'll get back to you. Oh wait, something happened. What's happening? I'm still hitting the delete key. Press escape in 5 seconds to skip startup and is there any other key? Hit other keys, nothing's happening. No mapping found. Alright, technical difficulties, I'll get back to you in a minute. Well, while we're in this section, let's just have a look here. Our BIOS version we got. Processor type, it looks like an AMD A6 8500P, Radeon R5 and we got our system bus speed. It looks like this has 4 gigabytes of total RAM in it. And yeah, good stuff. So that's what this part looks like anyway. Okay, so upon further inspection and review, I went back to my email to see what they said. So this is the RAM and everything here. Now it's a mSATA SSD, and that would go right here, and it does not come with that. So in legacy boot mode, this does have simple mining pre-installed in legacy. Now if you want to put in like Windows or Hive on an SSD, you would need an mSATA SSD, and you will need a little adapter if your motherboard doesn't support it to a USB. I don't have either of those, so I can't really show you that at the moment. But yeah, you'll need that, and that'll plug right into here. But I just installed Hive onto this flash drive, so I'm going to turn this on and we are going to see if this is going to boot. So we'll just put this right here, flash drive in, everything's turning nice, the little lights turned on, we got power through our HP server power supply, and we'll wait for this to do its thing. What are we doing for power on like system here? So we're up to 925, 920, 918, and when I was mining, I'm around 850. So what is that? So that's like what, 65, 70 watts. Just kind of quickly counted on my fingers quick. So we're using about 70 watts here. Obviously, if you've seen our last test, this gets, oh, looks like Hive's going there. All right, so we're having action. So you've seen this, the more you put onto it, it does turn into an ATX down the road with efficiency and everything. It starts using less power. But initially, right off the get-go, an HP server power supply does use like 30 or 40 watts, just stock with nothing on it. And maybe I'll plug this into my watt meter later on. We can do a power test on that to see exactly what this motherboard is taking for power. But right now it looks like Hive is booting up, and we got a red line going across there. That's probably the network error, I believe. It always happens on boots most of the time. But yeah, Hive is loading up. Let's go have a look on the computer and see what it looks like. So we look like we loaded up in Hive here. This is our Rebtech test rig. So we are detected. It is showing us we have an update. So I'm going to update Hive. And I don't really like doing it with flash drives because they always tend to fail on me. I probably just get too cheap of flash drives though. But I'm going to update this so we're all up to date, and then I guess we'll plug in some cards and see if this thing works. Okay, so we are all upgraded here. As you can see, all right there. Have a happy mining. So it says I have to swap out USB drives because the other one failed on me. And so for card tests, I guess we could throw all 6 of these on. I also want to try my 2 4GB cards. So I'll try the 4GB cards first, see how they mine, and then we'll come back and throw these cards on it. Okay, so I got a little piece of foam here. We got our power supply and our motherboard. We're going to try our 4GB cards to see how they react. I'm assuming this is only ×1, but you never know. We'll give this a test to look at 4GB cards. Now you can also see we're pulling 27.18 mega hash again since the last epoch. So I updated this Hive and it looks like we're back to 27 mega hash. So we haven't lost anything through the last 2 epochs since we did do this 4GB Ethereum trick. So before I actually power up this motherboard here, I'm at the little test rig section to test out these 4GB cards on here before we throw all the other cards on. We're going to see how much power this thing actually uses. So I have my power supply hooked up to our meter here. We will turn this on like so. We'll get our wattage here so we know what to subtract from, minus the glare. There we go. So 28.6 by the looks of things. Okay, we'll check her out here. 39.4.5. So we're about 39.5, we'll say. Here it is running. It's been running for a little bit just so it could boot up into Hive. So we'll roll at 39.5. Okay, so we got 10.9 watts. So this motherboard, so a complete system, no fans or cards on it, is only pulling 10.9 watts by itself. And total with the HP server power supply, yes, I'm on 120 volt at the moment. So this will only be a max rating of 900 watts on this current setup as I have now. But when I mine, I am on 240, giving this the full 1200 watts. But those two together, they are using 39.5 watts. So your system is 39.5. Keep in mind, we did these tests earlier. As you increase the power load on these power supplies, they do get more and more efficient. So you don't so the initial idle is higher, but when you actually build it up, it comes out to be close to the same as an ATX power supply. So you're not using more power, but you are actually using a bit more at lower power draws, if that makes sense to you. Okay, so what's unique about this is, as you can see, I have the USBs plugged straight in here. So these are your PCI Express slots now. No longer need this adapter to the X1 PCI Express slot like you'd be putting in these motherboards. This one has 6, so you go straight from the riser the USB down, plug straight into the USB right here. So these are your PCI Express slots instead of all those in there. So that makes this nice and more compact. Cable management could be a lot nicer. So we got this plugged in. I'm going to use the ATX power supply still to power all the cards and everything. And I'm only going to use the server PSU to power this. And I was also thinking, use this to power cards, or use it for risers, everything. So what would stop you from using the PCI Express of an ATX power supply straight into here to power this on? It could work, it could blow it up, but in theory I think it would work. So maybe after I get this going here, and after I get it going on all the other cards, maybe we will test that just to make sure it works. But I don't want to blow it up first and not be able to finish off testing all these cards out on it. So that'll be something we'll do later on in the video. Now, before I even turn this on, normally when you're running server power supplies, you have the power supplies going to your cards. So you would always turn this on first, and then you would turn on your motherboard. That way the cards have power. So, but see how we're kind of backwards here? We got to turn the ATX on first, which is still hooked to that motherboard. That motherboard's going to run Hive, and I messed up. We need this. We need some internet power here, so we better plug this cable in, or we won't be detected here in Hive. So let's get that in there. Hold on a second. Okay, click. So yeah, now we're in there. Cards have power, hopefully. And yeah, I should hit this button and we should be good to go. That fired up, that fired up. Cards are spinning. We're all set. So I'll let this load into Hive and see if we detect anything. Okay, so here we are. Where is it? Rebtech test rig. Both cards are detected. We put our overclocks in. And I guess we'll just send this to the moon. Look over here so you know for sure. Plugged into here. That's running there, and that's not even showing up because there's no Ethernet cable in it. But yeah, so this is all set to go. I'm going to run LOL Miner and see if these PCI Express deals are ×1, which I'm guessing they are. Or maybe they're ×16 and we can pull 27 megahash on both cards. If we could, that would be amazing. But stay tuned. Let's find out. Okay, so we are on the 4 gigabyte cards and we are only pulling 10 mega hash on them. We'll go to the remote in here, and as you can see, 10.8 and 10.7. It's been running for a little bit, so if it was gonna, this might over time hit the 15, but I'm pretty sure these are ×1 slots, and they will not be pulling the 27 mega hash that you will on a ×16 slot with a 4 gigabyte card. So that is what I'm going to be going with for that. And on to our next test. We have 3 3060 Ti's from Gigabyte, so Nvidia cards, and we have 2 5700 XTs from Sapphire and 1 5600 Red Devil. So 3 AMD, 3 Nvidia cards, mix match them. We're going to throw them all 6 onto that motherboard, but first we do got to update the drivers for the 3000 series, so we're gonna go update that and then we'll throw these on and see if it works. We are back in Hive, so sorry if I bore some of you, but when I go through stuff, I'm anticipating that new miners are watching, so I try to go through everything step by step just to make it easier on them. So if you've never updated drivers before, here we are in Hive. You're gonna want to SSH into your little deal here, so you want to go to remote access, shell in a box, and then you'll see you'll have it right here. I already have the command in, but if you just Google in Hive drivers, you can find the version number. So I'm going to use the latest, which is that 460.39. So when you're in here, you're just going to type in NVIDIA driver update 460.39 in your prompt, hit enter, and it will download and start installing the latest, or the one that you told it to install, driver into HiveOS. Okay, so we got that updated. Now we are going to use this power supply that's running these rigs. We're going to unplug the SSD and the 24 pin that's running off that Game Changer breakout board. Take a quick peek at it. And you can see right here. So yeah, like the complete system is running off that breakout board. So we're going to unplug that. And we are going to install the motherboard over there into here. And for a reference point, just so we can check power if we save, lose, or come out to the same, we're running about 866, I guess we'll go with. Bouncing around, we'll go with 866. So if we were running at the same or less, then that means that motherboard will be using less power than this motherboard, which would be a bonus. So this is the power cable for it running through. And I just got it propped up here because this is for testing purposes. So as you can see, all the cards are plugged in here. The little adapters are to the side. They're doubled up. So 2, 4, 6. 2, 4, 6 cards. It is booting. It'll take about 6 hours because it's a flash drive. That was an exaggeration, but I've been messing around. Went through 2 flash drives and updating Nvidia drivers and everything. It probably took like a couple hours. It took a while to get everything finally going. So if this thing does work out to work good, and I do enjoy it, I am going to have to get a micro SSD or an mSATA SSD to put in here because I hate flash drives. People in my Discord probably know that today. I've said it a few times. Anyway, we're going to go see if this boots up in the Hive. Also, because this is just testing purposes, hopefully I don't step on it because it'll snap in half because it is propped up at an angle like this. But this actually fits perfectly right here. So if I decide to like use it, I'd probably move these over, put it in the middle, and then it'd just be propped up here. You wouldn't need a motherboard down here at all because yeah, it fit right in here perfectly. It's totally light, so you don't have to worry about it bending. But yeah, let's go take a look at Hive and see if it's detecting all these cards. We are in Hive, Rebtech test rig. Now the cards are scattered all over the place, so we'll fix that eventually. We are just testing. But yeah, so far it's detecting all 6, Nvidia and AMD. Now I guess I'll just try to plug in some overclocks. Oh, that's still from when we had the 4 gig cards in, those 580s. But yeah, I'll plug in some overclocks. Hopefully, I'm just going to guess what's what. But yeah, and then I'll let this run for a while, probably all night because it is getting late here now. So I guess it'll be an all-night test and then we'll finish up tomorrow. But yeah, I'll put these in, we'll test this out, and we'll take another look in before I decide to let this go. So it looks like it is working with AMD and Nvidia cards with 2 separate miners, so you can complex things. I don't use Phoenix Miner for anything anymore, and I don't recommend it, but that's just me. So we are in there. If we have a look, here we can see Team Red Miner doing its thing. What do we got here? 4200, 5600, 56 and 56. Let's swap over the T-Rex. Hit number 2 here. And here you can see we're finding shares. We are hitting 61, 61, 61. So yeah, everything's finding shares. Nothing rejected, nothing stale, although it just started. But everything is working. So this motherboard is running everything it possibly can run on HiveOS anyway. So it's looking good. Keep in mind you do got to update that to the latest Nvidia driver if you do plan on running 3000 series cards. And yeah, so let's do a quick summary of this. So just before I recap here, I just wanted to show you what I meant by putting this in the frame. Is here you can see it fits kind of perfectly right there. You do have room to hit the bottom USB ports, and if you were to slide these over here, throw this in the middle, then you could just plug all your cards into the back here and here somewhere and just get rid of the motherboard completely. So this will run 8 GPUs and it doesn't matter on the brand. Okay, so final thoughts on this motherboard. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to test the ATX power supply here. I imagine it would work, but that also take away from a really much needed PCI Express slot, which you need for all your cards, and they are limited. I highly recommend server PSUs for crypto mining anyway. They are cheaper. You're loaded with PCI Express slots. Most crypto miners try to run 240 volt anyway, so you will get maximum capacity out of these. This is in fact from Parallelminer. You can get the 1200 watts from Parallelminer as well as nerdgears.com. If you use Rabid Mining as a coupon code, you will get 2% off your total order on nerdgears.com. And I have links in the description for all sorts of different power supplies and stuff from Parallelminer with my referral. But another cool thing you could probably do is if you threw this in, like I said, this has like 36 PCI Express slots. You could run 2 of these motherboards and run like 2 6-card rigs or whatever off one large power supply. So that could be cool. Or run two 8 fully up 8-card rigs, which would be 16. But then you would probably start overloading this depending on what you're mining and how it's going. But anyway, so final thoughts here. I do highly recommend to get the mSATA SSD if you plan on using it. If you're going to use simple mining, it is built into this on legacy mode, like I stated earlier, which I found out. And USB I don't really like. They are so slow when it comes to updating drivers, when it comes to just updating Hive in general. But I really enjoy Hive, and I am going to use this motherboard in the future or pretty soon, but I am going to get that mSATA drive because it was way too slow. It took a long time to get this thing actually running just because of the flash drive. And yeah, we got our 8 here, our 6-pin for power, and that's pretty much it. Like I said, I love this back plate. You don't have to worry. You can set it down on anything and you don't have to worry about it. Like, motherboards have pins at the bottom, so you either got to mount them good or you gotta set them on top of stuff like I have here so it doesn't short out and everything, because the pins actually stick out of the bottom. I'll kind of show you if I can get this thing up, because it's kind of stuck. But yeah, you can see the pins there. So yeah, the pins are down in there. This has nothing. So that's a nice feature. Like I said, it's like the size of a video card, so you could just throw it inside of a middle rig and in the middle there somewhere, plug everything in, and that takes a lot less room as well. Depending how you do it, or a custom frame you can build for that. But yeah, a lot of great things with this I keep wanting to say card, but this is actually a complete motherboard. All-in-one complete motherboard. Price is about $140. I will have the contact to their sales in my description as well if you want to pick yours up. Now, a couple people in my Discord, that's where I'm getting the price from. I believe it's $140. That's what they ordered it, USD in the States. A few people got it in. I don't know if there's any import fees or anything on it. This does come from Romania, and it took about a week and a half to actually get here from when they when I first got the notification that they sent it out. But yeah, overall I really like this thing. It is a great motherboard, especially with prices like, well, that can do 19 GPUs, but 6 or 7 have to be P104s, mining specific cards. So 12 or possibly 13. I heard some people say they're actually on 13. So I don't know. They were supposed to update this BIOS so any card would work, but that has not happened in 2 years. So 8 cards, $140 with the CPU, RAM, everything included. All you need to do, plug in power and some cards. You will need the SSD, like I said, but if you use simple mining, it's pretty much just plug, ready to go. It's set up for you. So $140, that's not too bad, especially with today's market. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Rabid out.